they're consuming these things that I'm going to share with you that have a lot of toxins. And the first one is coffee. So yes, you can get organically grown coffee, which is a lot cleaner. But what I've seen out there is a lot of people who are coffee drinkers. They'll just go into any store and buy coffee, and the coffee, most of the coffee out there is full of toxins from the growing the coffee beans and processing the coffee beans. So so if you just do a little bit of research, you'll find that coffee, when they grow it, they get a lot of toxins in there. And then the other part is when they're processing it, they're putting in a lot of toxins in there. And when they start, the other part is when they start flavoring it. So then the artificial flavors also have a lot of toxins in there. So simply, you're on an airplane and it's like, give me a cup of coffee. You're drinking a lot of toxins in that coffee. Or you're going to a fancy coffee shop. You're paying a lot of money to drink a fancy coffee that has a lot of toxins in your body. So coffee is one of the things that you want to see if you can eliminate from your diet if your goal is to have vibrant health and longevity. Now, the other issue with coffee is that it's in the yogic system, they're considered a negative pranic food. A negative pranic food means it's a food that has a negative effect on your prana. So meaning it's draining your prana. So prana, in other words, in the Chinese culture, it's called qi. So coffee, even though it's organic, etc., it is actually of draining your qi. So you want to limit. So if you're going to drink coffee, you want to limit that so you don't drain your qi. Remember, we talked about at the beginning when we were talking in the qi class, we were talking about things that drain your qi. So that's one of the things you want to do is to stop draining your qi if you're building. Otherwise, it's like you make money and you spend it right away, so you don't have enough. You can't save any money. So it's the same thing. You can do the qi exercises, but if you're constantly draining it, it's not going to benefit you as much if you're looking for longevity, right? The other thing is coffee is the most addictive substance on the planet. And if you hang around people who drink coffee, if you're a non-coffee drinker, you'll probably notice it more. If you're a coffee drinker, you may not notice it. But if you hang out with people who drink coffee, if they don't have their coffee in the morning, don't bother them until they get their coffee, right? So you want to make sure that, this is how you can see that it's addictive. I mean, they can't think straight unless they have their coffee. They can eat, but if they don't have their coffee, they can't think straight. And then once they stop drinking coffee, they go through withdrawals. So it's a very, very strong addictive substance, and it's not good to be addicted to anything. So coffee is one of the things that I find in many of the people who follow holistic health approaches drink a lot of coffee, not realizing that it has a lot of toxins in it, and they're accumulating all this toxins. So they do a detox of 14 days, and then they go and they start drinking coffee again. So now teas. So tea, when I'm talking about tea here, I'm talking about the tea, not the herbal teas. But tea also has, if it's not organic tea, then most of the teas out there, are full of like toxins, heavy metals in them. So that's another thing you want to stay away from. Even, if you go to a restaurant and they're just giving you, tea, you go to a Chinese restaurant, they give you tea. So you want to stay away from teas and because it has a lot of heavy metals. Now, there's organic teas that don't have it, right? But it's also the other problem with in the yogic system, it's also a negative pranic food. So what is a negative pranic food? Is a food that drains your prana or your chi. So you want to stay away from teas. Next one is herbal tea. Most of the herbal teas out there have a lot of toxins, especially heavy metals in them. So if you're going to drink herbal tea, you want to make sure it's coming from a really good source. That's extremely important. It's hard to find. You have to do your research and make sure the company you're getting your herbal tea are testing, and are testing for heavy metals and making sure that that it doesn't have, or if it does, it's very, very, very small amounts, because sometimes it's very hard to avoid heavy metals in the herbs. So you wanna make sure that they're testing that it's a very, very low amount. So herbal teas in general, if you're just buying them in the store in a tea bag, they usually have a lot of heavy metals. Now with the coffee tea and the herbal tea, those are things that people drink almost every single day, right? So, and sometimes several times a day. So, if you're drinking it once in a while, that's fine. But most people who are drinking coffee or drinking tea or drinking herbal teas, they're drinking it every single day, sometimes 3 to 4 times a day. Next one is chocolate. So there's 2 parts to the chocolate. One part is that most of the chocolate out there is only has very little chocolate, and most of the other parts of the ingredients are artificial ingredients, coloring, etc., etc. So the chocolate bar that you're getting is full of other toxins in it. But there's also chocolate out there that doesn't have any other artificial ingredient, but just the chocolate itself. A lot of the chocolates out there have heavy metals in them. So you want to make sure if you're going to eat chocolate, one, that the ingredients is just real food. There is no other added artificial anything, coloring, taste, etc. in the chocolate. And then the other part is that you want to make sure that it's coming from a place where they grow the chocolate in a more sustainable way. And then doesn't have any heavy metals in the chocolate bars. So even though it says, fair trade, etc., you should still check and see if they test for heavy metals, because a lot of these chocolates that say fair trade on it still contain heavy metals. So chocolate is another one that you find many people who are following a healthy lifestyle, this is where it slips in. Dried fruits is another one that has something called sulfur dioxide in them, and that's a preservative. And sulfur dioxide is a neurotoxin. So anything that affects your nervous system will drain your chi pretty much the fastest. So if it stimulates the nervous system, you're draining your chi. So you want to make sure that if you're eating dried fruits, it does not contain sulfur dioxide in them. Supplements and herbs. So these are most of the supplements out there have a lot of fillers. And these fillers are toxins, and also contain a lot of toxins in them. And also the same thing with herbs, have a lot of toxins in them. So you want to make sure whatever supplement or herb you're taking, it's not just because it's in the supermarket and it says this is a good supplement. You really want to make sure you do your research. And there, people take a lot of supplements. You can do research on supplements and companies that used to be good, and then they changed, ownership, and then the quality went down, and then when the quality goes down, they start using ingredients that have a lot of toxins in them, like heavy metal toxins. So You really, really want to make sure where you're getting your supplements. I am very strict on this, where I get my supplements from and the supplements that I recommend, and the same thing with herbs, because if you're taking a supplement that's supposed to help you, and then it's poisoning you because of the toxins in them, and you don't know it has those toxins in them because they don't have to label it, it's actually not helping you. So this is another big one where people getting a lot of toxins. There are stories of people who were taking herbs or supplements and then they got sick because of it, and they thought it was supposed to get them better, and only realizing afterwards the reason why they got sick is because they are having they were consuming too much toxins. And if you know people, when they some people, when they take supplements, they're taking 5 or 6 different supplements at a time, 3 to 4 times a day. So that after a while it starts to accumulate into your system. And the next one is alcohol. And I'm going to go. One of the big ones that I've seen is wines. So a lot of people, they drink wine and has also the same that has a preservative in there. If I'm not mistaken, it's also sulfur dioxide. If it's not that, it's something similar, and it's also a neurotoxin. So the wines, you want to make sure that it doesn't have that preservative in there. And then the other thing with the wines, not only wines, with other alcohol beverages like mixed beverages, they like cocktails and stuff like that, they add different food coloring in them, so that also accumulates. If you're drinking alcohol once in a while, you're having a glass, that's not the big deal. But the wine is the big one, because some people drink wine almost every single day. Some countries, they drink it 3 times a day. So you want to make sure if you're drinking wine, it doesn't have that preservative that is actually a neurotoxin. And anything that's a neurotoxin is considered a negative chronic food, and that will drain your energy. Okay, the next one is the toxins in water. So the 3 different ways we absorb toxins from water is one from drinking it, the second one is bathing in it, and the third one is swimming in it. Swimming, people don't swim that much, so it may not be a big issue for some people. But know when you're swimming, you are getting the most amount of toxins inside your body for that time period that you're swimming. But if I had to compare, with the worst one out of the 3 would be bathing, because bathing is something that we do. For most of us, it's at least once or twice a day. And when you're bathing, you're actually absorbing more toxins in your body for that time period that you're bathed than drinking water. So I know a lot of people are very concerned about the drinking water they get. They buy bottled water. They have filters, etc. But when it comes to their bathing, they don't have any filters in their shower, or or they fill up the bathtub with unfiltered water. So to me, if you ask me what is the priority would be is when you bathe, make sure you're bathing in water that is that has been filtered. So because this is when you're absorbing, especially if the water is hot, you're absorbing it even more. But those are the 3 ways from water that we absorb toxins from. Another one is inhaling. So we inhale toxins, and that's from pollution. So that we know already, from cars, etc. The other one is from air fresheners and sanitizers. Many of the air fresheners and sanitizers have really bad toxins in them that can cause cancer. So you want to stay away from. This is also like candles and incense. So you want to make sure, if you are going to use like air sanitizers or air fresheners or candles or incense, you want to make sure that they are toxin free. And then cleaning products. So cleaning products, the same. If you're inhaling those cleaning products, very toxins, very toxic to your body. And especially if you're working like in a hospital setting, it's very strong. If you go into a public bathroom, they have very strong smell, and then the cleaning products, and that is also very toxic. Perfumes and cologne is another one where you get a lot of toxins in it. So not only that you're inhaling it, but you're also putting it on your body so it gets absorbed. So this is two ways that you're getting it from the cologne or from the perfume. So you want to make sure that you're using something that is healthy. And cigarettes and e-cigarettes. I know people are switching from cigarettes and they're going into e-cigarettes. And I think the new issue that they're having with e-cigarettes now, they're calling it a popcorn lungs. So it's really bad for your lungs. Plus, you're also inhaling a lot of the toxins that's in e-cigarette. So those are the things that I've seen a lot of people, areas where people are not realizing that they're inhaling toxins, and these are some of them. Okay, so toxins we put on our body. So body care products, most of the body care industry is not regulated, so they can put anything in there and you have no idea what it is and how bad it is for you. So so that's something to think about. But body care products are full of toxins. One of the big ones, especially in the hot countries, is people put talcum powder, and talcum powder is really not good. So just do your research on that and see what's wrong with it. But that's one big one that I've seen that people use. They also use it in massage places. When you get a massage at the end, they put talcum powder. Or when guys who get like haircuts, they'll put some talcum powder after the haircut. So so yeah, body care is a big one where you absorb a lot of toxins. And again, this is something, if you're a female, you're putting it on in the morning, you're putting it on in the afternoon, and you're putting it on in the evening, the lotions and the different creams. And so you're constantly absorbing toxins into your system. Another one is beauty products, makeup and etc. So you want to check for that. Make sure you're using healthy one. And another one is feminine hygiene products. So if you're using your tampons and your pads, you want to make sure that those are coming from natural, because otherwise you are absorbing all the toxins that's inside those products. So that's another area of how when absorbing toxins. So you can see some of these issues that we're talking about. The ancients didn't have this issue of all these the way they were absorbing toxins back then and today. Okay, so the next one is what to eat and how to choose what to eat. So this is a big one. You'll see out there, and there are many different theories of what is the best thing and how to choose to eat. I'm going to share with you a simplified approach